Hey everyone, and Happy New Year. Today on Rockeyez, we are pleased to welcome back amazing vocalist and Survivor frontman Jimmy Jamison for his first audio interview with us. Jimmy, welcome back. It's a pleasure to speak with you as always, and congratulations on the new release, Never Too Late. Just another incredible CD, which was released just under the wire here to make our, not only our top 10 CDs of the year, but also have a song, the title track, Never Too Late, in our top 5 songs of the year as well. Thanks again for taking the time to speak with us.
Oh man, it's a pleasure to be here. You know, I'm really humbled and honored that you made the top 10 and both those cats actually, and I just want to say thanks to you guys. That's a great thing.
Well, it's well deserved. The CD is great. You should be very proud of it. So let's start by talking about the new CD. How did you get paired up with Eric Martinson, and what was it like working with him?
Serafino put us together. From Serafino from Frontiers hooked us up, and I played Firefest. He was playing with a different band, and that's where I actually met him for the first time. And he's like a little genius, man. He plays. I don't know if he probably plays even violin. You know, he plays everything, and he's a great producer, and it was really a pleasure working with him. He's he's great. He's great to take suggestions, and of course he does a lot most of the stuff by himself and doesn't need any suggestions. So whenever you're working with somebody or writing with somebody, he's very open and receptive, and that's a wonderful attribute to have along with his talent.
Now, even though the CD has elements of that old Survivor sound from time to time, this release is a bit different from your past releases in both its style and arrangement. Now, while it isn't too far of a stretch, how did you approach the songs on this release as opposed to what you've done in the past?
You know, I didn't really take a different approach. I just threw a bunch of vegetables and stuff in the pot, and it turned out to be good stew. So. But I really didn't approach it any differently. The only thing that I did different was I was the only one in the studio, me and the engineer, when I sang it all, and I was able to do things that I don't normally do, and that's pretty much the only thing I did differently. You know, as far as the songs go, I sang them like I thought they should be sung, and I followed Eric had a guide vocal on there, but I followed his guide vocal to an extent, but most of the time I just did it the way I thought it should be done, and that was great. It was great because I had nobody, saying do this, do that,
Were there any songs in the release that you felt were maybe a bit more of a challenge, or maybe took you out of your comfort zone a little bit?
Oh yeah, yeah. There's some really high notes on this record. When I walked in the studio, I wasn't sure if I could hit all those notes, but the inspiration kicked in, and I was able to do it. It was a very refreshing that I could still do that. And I think maybe the highest one, I can't even remember which were the highest ones now, though, because they all sound normal to me now that I've been doing them for a while. But yeah, it was a pretty big challenge.
Now, what do you attribute that to? The fact that your vocals are still so incredible after all these years. I mean, a lot of guys, once they've been singing for 20 some odd years, start losing their voices. But your voice sounds just as good today as it always has.
If you don't use it, you lose it. That's the way I've always looked at it. And I've always sung for years and years. For a long time, when I first started singing, I'd get hoarse, lose my voice, get laryngitis and stuff. But after a while, it's like a muscle you build up, and I guess I learned how to sing right, sing from the diaphragm and everything, and that's probably what I attribute to being able to still do it.
Mm-hmm.
Pavarotti, look at him, he was.
Yeah.
Not that I'm Pavarotti, or anything, but they are great singers like that who can still do what they always did.
Now, what made
he was still alive? That is.
Well, what made you decide on Never Too Late as the first video for the release, and tell me what it was like shooting the video for it?
Well, actually, the first single in the video was going to be a different song, but I called Serafino up and I said, Serafino, can you listen? Never Too Late just had such a great message, and I totally had a video idea for it. And so he said, yes, for Never Too Late, it'll be fine. And so I spoke with the director of the video, and I told him my idea about doing something good for somebody, and then it's like a chain reaction, you know, and people just turn around and do something good for someone else. You know, courtesy breeds courtesy. But he came up with a brilliant idea to that about throwing a note over the side of off the building, you know, and the note passes around so everybody would know what was going on, and that was totally brilliant. Mm-hmm. And shooting the video was the most fun I've had ever shooting the video. I got to shoot it here in my hometown in Memphis, downtown, on top of this unbelievable building right in the middle of the city. And we used all Memphis people except for the actress, and one of the other fellows on the crew was also in it, the young guy. But everybody else we just picked up off the street. So it's almost like a little history lesson of Memphis also, because it shows a lot of the landmarks and the Stax records, all that kind of stuff, you know, that Memphis is famous for. And it was just a real pleasure to do that video. I didn't want to stop shooting.
Are there any plans for a follow-up?
We haven't talked about it yet, but it would be great. I'm going to speak to Serafino and see what he thinks about it. But there's no plans as of yet.
What has the reaction been for the release itself so far from both your fans and from the critics?
Everybody seems to like it. You know, I've gotten hundreds of emails congratulating me and saying, "Where have you been hiding?" I haven't been hiding anywhere. It's all really good reactions, you know, and I'm really appreciate all the people sharing their thoughts and their opinions with me. You know, I don't think any negative reactions whatsoever.
Now, Never Too Late is your first release in quite a while without the inclusion of your longtime friend and writing partner, Jim Peterick. What do you feel is the biggest difference between the writing styles of Peterick and Martinson, and how much differently do you think the CD might have sounded if Peterick was a part of it?
Well, Jim is one of the best songwriters in the business that's ever been in the business, and I respect him so much. But he and I had this. When we do a song, it's not quite as rocking, I guess you'd say, or something, you know, because he's got this classical side of him and this Broadway side of him that I love, but this is just a little bit more raw and a little bit the background vocals and everything are just like seem to be a little younger or something, you know. When I do something with Jim, it's like really, you know, to the T, very professional and very, you know, it's all what we learned through our musical careers, you know, and to have a fresh approach with Eric was very refreshing, you know. So that's pretty much the difference.
Mm-hmm. Are there any plans of working together with Jim again in the future?
Oh, I would always work with Jim. There's no plans, but he and I somehow always seem to get together at some point or another, you know.
Now, setting the new release aside for just a bit, back in late 2011, you had announced your return to Survivor. What's been going on with that?
Actually, it's been a lot of fun this time. You know, I'm still with the band, and we're planning on going out on tour and planning on doing another record. And we're playing at this festival in Sweden in June as our first show, I think. Unless, of course, they probably booked some more by now. But it's a lot of fun. You know, I'm having fun out there on the road with those guys. You know, everybody gets along really good for a change, and but you know, I realized, and Frank realized, everybody realized that, you know, that's our heritage. You know, Survivor's our heritage. And, you know, we can't just let that go and you know, over some trivial stuff. So it's been a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to doing another record and going out and doing some touring.
Nice. Are there any plans on playing anything around the United States?
Oh yeah. I don't know where yet, but we're definitely planning on doing a bunch of things around the United States.
Great. It'd be great to have you in this area. You never come up here.
We're coming up there this time, I hope.
Oh, it'd be great to see you. Believe me, I would love to see you guys up in this area. So even though you had great success with Survivor yourself, and were basically able to take the song Eye of the Tiger and make it uniquely your own, do you ever find it odd that even though you didn't sing on the original release, Eye of the Tiger has become one of your signature songs?
Yeah, it's a little strange, but what the heck? I just think about it like Frank Sinatra made songs his own, and all these great singers from the past, they never wrote a song in their life. They just did other people's songs and made them their own. And now a lot of them, people don't even remember who originally sang the song.
Yeah.
So it was a little strange. At first, it wasn't strange at all. I never even thought about the change, but because it's Eye of the Tiger is part of Survivor, and whoever as long as you do it good, I think people are going to enjoy it.
Now, you did record an original song for a part of the Rocky series in Burning Heart, but tell me something. Even though both yourself and Survivor can attribute at least some degree of your success to those movies, how much of a fan were you of the movies themselves?
Oh, I was a big fan of the Rocky movie, but to be honest with you, Eye of the Tiger kind of slipped past me at the time. Burning Heart, I was a part of, so of course I was in it. But I didn't join the band because they had a song, Eye of the Tiger. That wasn't the reason I joined the band. I joined the band because when I got the audition, I went and bought some of the records and listened to their writing, and said, "Man, these guys can write." So when I joined the band, Eye of the Tiger never even entered into the equation. I listened to the rest of their songs, and the rest of their songs were great, and I figured that they were great writers and sounded really good. The record sounded good, and that's why I went up there and did the audition and finally got the gig.
Now, speaking of live performances, as you just mentioned a few minutes ago, you had done an absolutely stellar performance at Firefest not too long ago. Are there any plans of returning to Firefest this year?
Well, there's no plans for this year that I've heard of yet. Nobody's asked me to come back yet. I guess 2 times might be enough. I don't know. But I'd love to go back and play. I formed relationships with a lot of different people while I was there. Some really fantastic artists, and I got to know them, and we became like a family. And I'd love to go back and play again, though I haven't been invited yet.
Who is in your touring band that you use in the when you play in the United States or abroad?
Well, I have probably the one main person you'd know would be John Roth, who now plays with. He plays with Winger. He plays with Giant, and now he just he started playing with Starship with my old buddy Mickey Thomas. Mm-hmm. Now Mickey has my bass player and my guitar player. He calls me up one day. He had to get a new bass player. And he said, and that's right when I went back with Survivor the first time. And he said, "Man, do you mind if I use Jeff Adams? Are you gonna?" I said, "No, go right ahead. We're not doing anything right now." And so Jeff Adams started playing with him. He's been playing with him for about 10 years now. And John Roth, unbelievable guitar player. I don't know if he'll have time to play with me anymore now that he's playing with Mickey, because Mickey plays a lot of dates. And also have on drums Pete Mandillo, who's a great player, who was in my solo band back when we were out touring. And Hal Butler on keyboards is a long staple and player for me. He's always there, and a great singer. And I really don't have to use several different bass players. I use Dave Smith, who played on those all the Lang records, mm-hmm. and Johnny Lang, and plays with everybody. He's on so many records, it's unbelievable. And that's pretty much the roster right there.
Mm-hmm. So what else has been going on with you, and what more can we expect in the future?
Well, I just co-wrote a song with Pat Horgan for a movie that's going to be made starring Christian Slater. It's called Trouble in Paradise. It's an old gangster movie. His timeline is back in the 50s or something, and it's about the Cuban mafia. Mm-hmm. And so I'm doing the main title song for that movie, which is called Havana Mine. And I did another song in the movie also. And actually, I'm going to be playing a small part in the movie with the speaking lines and everything.
Wow, nice.
So far, that's the plan. Once we start shooting, and I get up there, and You sound like a hillbilly instead of a Cuban mafia guy. They may change their minds and get me shot right away. But that's going to be a different experience for me because I've never been in a full-length movie before. But it'll be a small part, I think.
What are you most looking forward to in the next year?
What I like better than anything is touring and playing live. I used to really hate going in the studio when I first started, because you get that instant gratification when you play live, and the electricity and the feeling that you have when you get on stage is something that's incomparable. And so that's what I really enjoy doing. I'm looking forward to.
How pleased have you been with the success that you've had with pretty much your own resurgence and the resurgence of rock in general in the United States?
I've been very pleased with it, especially in the last couple of 3 years. It's been very no stress involved whatsoever, and it's the people are they look back at your history and say, hey, we got to check this guy out. He's been around a long time, and I've had a lot of good response from that, and it's been a great thing to be able to keep doing this, and people keep appreciating what you do. I guess if you give them, something that tastes good, they're going to keep coming back.
Well, you certainly do that, and we appreciate having you around, Jimmy. It's been absolute pleasure to have you in the industry for so long.
Oh, thank you so much. I hope I'm around for a long time more.
Oh, we're looking forward to that. But, Jimmy, that's pretty much about it. Is there anything else that you'd like to say in conclusion or say to your fans?
I would just like to say that I appreciate so much the fact that everyone who listens to the record has good positive feedback on it, and I'm very humbled at the fact that you guys rated it so high. I can't thank you enough. It's a great feeling to be able to do something like that, because when you do a record, it's like your baby, And so far, everybody thinks my baby's cute. So.
Well, that's great, Jimmy. Thank you again for taking the time, and we're looking forward to hearing more from you and more success in the future.
Thank you so much, man. And Rockeyez rocks, man.
Thank you. Listen, we'll talk to you soon, and best of luck with the new release, and we hope to see you this summer.
Okay, babe.
You take care.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.